For as all-consuming as politics can be, there is an element of escapism in the political thriller genre. Instead of trying to keep up with the never-ending news cycle, it's infinitely more manageable to keep up with the machinations of a fictional show. However, the best political shows reflect the real world through nuanced storylines and compelling characters. In the case of the Netflix critical hit The Diplomat, starring Keri Russell, this remains true, and Season 3 succeeds once again thanks to its addictive, intense nature.
What is The Diplomat Season 3 about? The Diplomat's third season picks up immediately from the shocking Season 2 finale. President Rayburn is dead after a call with Hal Weiler, while Kate has admitted to Vice President Grace Penn that she's after her job and accused her of creating the terrorist plot from Season 1. In the aftermath of that chaos, everyone's roles morph and change in the wake of Rayburn's death. One of the major strengths of Season 3 is how it starts. There's a momentum and urgency to the transfer of power and shifts in control, and the tone set by the premiere carries throughout the 8-episode season. Not only are there changes to the hierarchy in the United States, but also with Kate's team and alliances in London. Even after Grace is sworn in as president, Kate and the U.S. Embassy are still reeling from the discovery of Grace's involvement with the British aircraft carrier attack. She and Idra both know Grace was involved in reaching out to Meg Roylin and putting this plot into motion. Power and trust are fragile, and like great political thrillers, Season 3 keeps you on edge, questioning who can be trusted in the new Grace Penn era.
Allison Janney and Bradley Whitford bring a new dynamic to The Diplomat Season 3. Academy Award winner Allison Janney already had a presence when she made her debut as Grace in Season 2. Now, as the new leader of the free world, her command goes to the next level. Even in Grace's silences, there's an aura to them that emanates from the screen. As we learn in Season 2, she is a terribly flawed woman to be trusted with the nuclear codes. Yet in the third season, Janney expertly balances the complexities of a cutthroat politician with the weight of responsibility she carries for a nation. Staying with Grace, one of the great additions to the cast this season is Janney's West Wing co-star, Bradley Whitford, as First Gentleman Todd Penn. While some might have seen it as stunt casting when it was announced, that could be further from the truth with his role. No, Whitford doesn't come in as an older Josh Lyman with Aaron Sorkin wit. Instead, Todd is a quieter man, and at times he seems passive to the stark changes of his life. However, that's not to say Todd doesn't have any bite. Viewers won't spend as much time with him until the latter half of the season, but when those episodes unfold, Todd might be the most aware person of the power dynamics of DC. West Wing fans will be happy to know that the chemistry between Janney and Whitford is excellent. Although their repartee isn't as rapid fire as their days on the NBC political series, they do have a steady companionship, and this season boasts much quieter moments between the newly appointed president and first gentleman. While there is affection and love between the two, there's also a waning trust. The higher up you move on the political ladder, the more valuable it is to rely on your partner. In a way, Grace and Todd's dynamic is both a mirror and a potential warning for Kate and Hal's complicated relationship.
The Diplomat's romances are still enticing and complicated in Season 3.
With each season, Kate's relationship with Foreign Secretary Dennison has evolved in new ways, and the same remains true here as the Grace Penn presidency shifts the dynamics between the United States and the United Kingdom. Even though their professional worlds have changed, the sexual tension between Kate and Dennison remains ever present. From their first meeting to now, the sparks have continued to stay lit. Gayassi and Russell really bring the heat to every interaction between their characters, even as alliances shift around them. Meanwhile, the last two seasons have proven how unsustainable yet perfect Kate and Hal are for each other. As much as Hal goes off book and meddles in situations that he shouldn't be involved in, he remains devoted to Kate. Now that Grace is the president and Hal was inadvertently involved in Rayburn's death, Season 3 brings new stakes to Kate and Hal's relationship. Kate constantly questions what her limit is in their marriage and how long she can go without admitting how much she still needs him. Mildly put, it's complicated. Although their relationship lacks the same sexual tension that Kate has with Dennison, their push and pull remains just as engaging as ever.
Keri Russell remains the standout of The Diplomat in Season 3.
The Diplomat wouldn't be as strong a series without Keri Russell. She brings an intelligence, relatability, and charm to Kate, even as the character continues to dive deeper into politically gray areas.
With her world once again thrown into chaos in the wake of Rayburn's death, Kate's aspirations and agendas must adapt to this new world order, professionally and personally. In the wake of it, Russell rises to the occasion, anchoring us while drama unfolds in London and Washington, D.C. throughout Season 3. Beyond her personal relationships, what makes Kate uniquely fascinating this season is her place within the Grace Penn presidency. In order to stay in the action, she has to play the political game with an incredibly flawed new world leader. Because of Kate's diplomatic position in London, Prime Minister Trowbridge sees an opportunity to further UK relevance alongside its longtime ally. If there's something the diplomat makes clear in Season 3, it's that the U.S. agenda often doesn't line up with its allies' goals. As a result, Kate has to grapple with her own culpability in Grace's and, by proxy, America's actions. When political thrillers are done well, they can be as entertaining as they are meeting the moment in history. Where the U.S. previously carried a reputation for being the hero of the free world, The Diplomat Season 3 reckons with its status as a bully. The tagline for this season is, "No alliance lasts forever." And this rings true even into the season's final minutes. The Diplomat remains as electric as ever, thanks to the depth of its characters, intriguing plot, and ever-changing dynamics. It grabs you for its opening scene and doesn't let up until its finale. And based on where it ends, we're thankful that Season 4 is already in development. The Diplomat Season 3 is now streaming on Netflix.